Hi, everybody. This is Jim Cornette, pro wrestling legend, and you're listening to the Booking the Territory Unprofessional Wrestling Podcast.
This is the artist formerly known as Daryl Van Horn, James Mitchell, the Sinister Minister, and I'm here to let you know I would rather slam my cock in a car door than to miss the dulcet tones of Hard Body Harper, my illegitimate son, on Booking the Territory Podcast.
Woo, Messi, this is professional wrestler Jimmy Valiant, the Boogie Woogie Man. Tell my people and my brothers and sisters, don't you dare miss Booking the Territory. Oh, yeah.
This is a one-man gang. You're listening to Booking the Territory Pro Wrestling Podcast.
Welcome back, everyone, to this week's episode of Booking the Territory, the Unprofessional Wrestling Podcast, where today we're still celebrating our birthday month, I guess, in a way, although the birthday month is technically over. So hopefully you cashed in on that annual Patreon membership and got 2 months free. But we are talking about the second part of WCW Saturday Night on TBS from December the 21st, 1991. I am sitting here with Mean Mike Crockett. Harper is running late. He did text me, so, you know, at least he said he would be late. We hope he makes it before we're done, but at least he texted me. And before I ask Crockett how he's doing, special shout out to our big time patron contributors monthly, Disrespectfully Classy, Marky Blassie, Mike Childry, Joe Ice, and good old Justin. Thank you for your generous support on Patreon each and every week or each and every month. You're basically the sponsors of this show because we don't run ads, and that's the drill here. Crockett, let me go to you. How goes it, man? This is another week in the saddle.
Yeah, 2 in a row. It's definitely a record. Sorry to hear about Doc, that he's dying of long COVID, but we'll keep in our thoughts and prayers.
Well, he's not dying of long COVID, but he is dying of kids soccer, kids end of school activities, and many other shenanigans that he is involved in. He is absolutely nuts. I get wanting to be father of the decade, but man, this dude's schedule on the weekends and the amount of money he is putting out for select soccer, I mean, I couldn't afford it. I could tell you that much. We played city ball when my kids were younger. They were playing in the park leagues, which are the cheap. I mean, even that is not cheap these days, but he is in this select stuff, and I just hope one of these kids turns into Pele or something, and goes pro, because the amount of money and time he is spending on the soccer fields lately it's a miracle he was doing the shows before this, but he is supposed to be back next week, for the record. He did say that. He wanted me to thank Crockett, but then he was also acting miserable about not being able to make it, and he was being a curmudgeon. So anyway.
Okay, I must have heard you wrong. I guess he just only wanted to be dying of long COVID.
Probably. Although of the three of us, I'm the one who had the worst bout with COVID. I didn't go to the hospital or nothing, but it knocked me on my ass. That fever was a son of a gun.
It was rough.
Me pretty good.
I had it once or twice too.
Did you get the fever with it, or I didn't realize you had a rough bout with it.
Vomiting, it was.
Oh, okay.
Rough few days.
I didn't have the vomiting. I had that hellacious fever and like body aches and the fever, and I had the sorest throat I've ever had in my life. And boy, it just wouldn't go away. And finally it did, and I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna live. And that was a good feeling knowing that. But anyway, Crockett, before I get into rolling into the show and different things, I did want to ask you, we talked about doing Heroes of Wrestling the last time you were on. I think it was when you did the patron show last, actually, not on this show. Yeah. And then Harper said he was going to join us. So after we record this, we got to figure out when we can watch Heroes and do the patron show for all the patrons who want to listen to the Heroes review. So you down for that still?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, if this is winding down and Doc's really coming back, I guess I might have some free time.
You have some free time to watch some wrestling now. And some folks on the Facebook group are saying, oh, okay, got to have Harper there. Well, he did say he would be there, Crockett, but you responded on the Facebook group saying something also.
Yeah, it depends if he has to take a shit or not.
Yeah.
It's all up to his colon at this point.
Oh, it's all up to his colon. It is all up to his colon. But hey, there are some barn burner matches and just bullshit on that pay-per-view. And I honestly don't know if Harper's ever seen it. I know you haven't because you did tell me that, but I don't know if he's ever seen it, which that might make it even better because I can just kind of hear him going off on Jake and a few other things in that just rather terrible pay-per-view. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just looking down. I mean, speaking of vomit, just looking down the lineup just makes you want to vomit some of these matches they got on the card. I can't imagine what it's going to be like to actually see it.
Again, Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov with Iron Sheik but not being able to move was just something else. That was very memorable to me. So yeah, there was that card was trash. I think actually Joe Murata and Michael Quinn covered it on OVP at one point. I believe
they did, yeah.
Yeah, I think they did because I remember I had sent, this is in the early years of OVP, I sent Joe a note about it. I was like, man, the word was they papered it too. Like, I don't think they sold all those tickets. Those people that were in there, I believe it was papered. At least that's what was reported at the time. Who knows if that's really
I have
true.
to imagine. I mean, they don't. It's not a TV product. It's just kind of like a one-off pay-per-view out of nowhere. You have to imagine that they kind of do a few tricks to get some people in there.
Yeah, highly likely. I guess that could be true. All right, well, so we will get that on the Patreon schedule soon. Can't promise when, but it will happen. We've also got Dark Side of the Ring starting up this week. So Doc and I'm sure we'll have to figure out, if we're gonna which one of those we'll review. I definitely want to do the Chris Candido episode, and I guess Tammy. Although I was listening to something today that really made it sound like it was going to focus on Chris. So I hope that's the case because Tammy's a train wreck, and I don't know if I really want to hear about her. 5-star reviews, couple of them here. So first two I'm going to read are from Podcast Addict, and the first one is from In Stereo 42. I think this is the second one he's left, but it popped up again, so I'm going to read it from 5/17 of 2023. Would give a Meltzer 7 stars if I could. Found this podcast when listening to old JC podcasts, Jim Cornette that is. Excellent Smoky Mountain shows, now starting on the WCW shows from 2017, so that would be when we were in 1985. Quality comedy and one-liners, non-PC is all good. I enjoy hearing from people who enjoy the fact that we don't pull punches. So thank you very much.
Remember way back then, 1985, when they had good promos and short matches.
It's insane to see the evolution of this shit. How they've
and that's the word, yeah.
They've gone from, like, in all actuality, the matches, there are some better matches, I think. Well, I don't know. Because I can look back at in 86 when they were in the different arenas throughout the Crockett territory when they were filming the Saturday nights there. And there were some hellified matches on those. But, man, I don't know at what point. Well, I know at what point. I mean, Jim Herd didn't like the promos. But, man, they went from 8 promos a week to 2 if you're lucky. And we're talking 8 bangers every week, it seemed. But whatever. Okay, let's continue. Wayne Wallace 0405 says, downloaded the Podcast Addict app just to leave this review. I'm a Mid-South Pod fan who checked out BTT at the suggestion of Mike, and I've been a proud Army member ever since. I hopped in on the tail end of 88 and have loved all the flips and dives on the road to Starrcade 91. 91 is the year I was born. Man, this guy makes me feel old. But I appreciate it, Wayne. 91 is the year I was born, and I love hearing about all the happenings of this era. Thanks to the real six-man champs for educating my generation on good old Southern wrestling. Looking forward to starting the Smoky Mountain run as well. Wayne interacted with me on Twitter, so thank you, Wayne. This was a really good review. You make me feel old being born in 91. I can tell you that much. Boy, I'm almost 2 decades before you, so I salute, man. You were born in 91. Holy crap. Anyway, I always
dying for Mid-South content and just couldn't go without hearing your voice, so we had to seek you out. Good for him.
You know, every time you said like weeks and weeks ago on the Patreon show, every time you make a joke of the Mid-South show, it comes out. Well, it didn't happen this time, Crockett. I just wanted to make that note, make that be known. You know what I mean?
I'm trying again. Give it one more shot.
I know. Yeah. Give it one more shot. So yeah, Wayne, look, there's plenty here for you. Since the Mid-South show doesn't come out regularly, as of right now. Jeremy Bryant on Apple Podcasts, a wrestling podcast like no other. The BTT podcast continues to be one of the wrestling podcasts I listen to despite my waning interest in most wrestling podcasts. As you know, the podcast world is flooded with many shows, but you guys bring the entertainment weekly. I've been listening since the beginning, and I'm thankful for the many laughs. JB has been listening since the beginning. I remember first interacting with him on Twitter back in 15 and 16, so he's been with us for a while. There's been some fun trips down memory lane. You all keep me company during some insane work days. I may have been a poor kid who grew up in the Appalachia. I spent my teen years at tons of Smoky Mountain shows, but FYI, Doc, I wasn't one of the mutants you made fun of continually in Smoky Mountain. Proud of my mountain roots, but managed to garner 2 master's degrees. Sorry, no time to work on that PhD yet, Doc. Thanks, Mike, Doc, and Harper, for your continued work to share the old school wrestling with the world. Don't worry, JB, about that PhD. 2 masters is a hell of an accomplishment. You couldn't pay me right now to go back to school and get a master's degree. My brain can't handle it. I'm too dumb. You know what I mean, Crockett?
Oh, believe me, I know.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you imagine being in school right now, like trying to learn some shit that you don't care about?
No, and I'm going to have to go through it again when my, kid starts school. I'm going to have to learn all the stuff all over again and try to act like I know what I'm talking about when I'm trying to help him with homework.
Bless your heart, man. I remember those days. I was like, Jesus Lord, how do y'all do this math? That's not how you do it. It's done a little bit differently. My generation, no, I hate saying this because I'm going to sound old, but whatever that new math is, how they do it, that ain't how I was taught. So that's the rough part. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the new division. Yeah, I'm completely clueless when it comes to that.
Oh, God, it's the worst. It's the absolute worst. It's the worst. All right, Crockett, anything else before we get into the second part of December 21st?
No, I guess no Harper. I guess we just got to go for it.
Yeah, he did say he was going to be about 30 minutes late. So I guess we're close to 10 minutes in now or so. So we'll see what that means. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Again, he said he was going to be here, but I've had him text me before. I'm going to be there. And I'll give you an example. One night, Doc and I were starting at 7. Harper was supposed to be there. He said, all right, I'm running 30 minutes late. At 8:50, now we started at 7. At 8:50, almost 2 hours in, he's like, all right, I'm on. And we had just hung up. Like, Harper, we're done. Oh, I didn't realize it. Dude, it's 2 hours past. I'm not mad at him. He got caught at work. I was like, man, we're done. So anyway.
It's part of the charm.
It's part of the charm, man. But hopefully he will be here and we can get this puppy going. All right, so I'm jumping into December the 21st. This is part 2. So last week we left off Crockett with, wasn't it Arachnaman? Wasn't it that match?
Yeah, a main event anywhere in the country.
Main event anywhere in the country as he shot the webs out of his hands. So this week's taping, again, this was taped on December 9th of 91. 575 people in attendance and in center stage. We picked back up with several clips of Lex Luger and Rick Steiner. They show this because Christmas night, there will be a rematch between Rick Steiner and the world champion Lex Luger. So they want to build that up, and that's why they're showing all these clips of Steiner and Luger, because they kind of were in a feud for a little while. This is not Starrcade. Starrcade is on the 29th. So, but Christmas night, there was a quote unquote big show at the Omni on Christmas night. So we're just trying to build that up. That show, for the record, for anybody out there who'd like to know, it had a reported 3,600 people in attendance, and Luger did win by pin for those wondering. Luckily, we have this glorious thing called the internet where I was able to look that up. I didn't see the footage from it, but I was able to look up that Luger did win. Also on Christmas night, Jushin Thunder Liger is battling Pillman for the light heavyweight title as well. So, good stuff going on Christmas night. And I don't, Doc would hate this, but I get it here. They're showing these clips because we got to build up. Hey, we're having a big rematch on Christmas night. Now, I don't think anybody thought Steiner was going to win, but then again, back then, maybe you did, and maybe that made you want to go on Christmas night. I don't know. What do you think, Crockett?
Yeah, watch this in two parts, obviously, but the second part, there's barely a mention the second half of the show of the pay-per-view in a week. This is all it's all major push to the Christmas night show at the Omni. So, you got to try to get people in the building. They thought of it as the Madison Square Garden of the South. They're trying to push it that way, get everybody to go to the Omni, but at the expense of their pay-per-view, I think, in some instances.
Yeah, they did right before they go to this series of replays, just so you know.
Wait,
watch this.
Watch it get spiked.
Yes. So we reviewed that when that happened. When Mr. Hughes got Frankensteinered by Scott, he just doesn't rotate over all the way.
Yeah, there's a very small, I think, subsection of people that take that Frankensteiner well. I remember in when they were doing the squash matches in WWF, they were they wrestled Dwayne Gill and Barry Hardy, the future Gilbert. They wrestled them 15 different times in squash matches because one of those two could take the Frankensteiner well. They put them under masks as the executioners. They'd have them different combinations, but I remember Bo Beverly also could take it very well. So they'd have him wear masks and be a job guy because a lot of people take that either incorrectly or they jump too early, too late. They get spiked on their head. But yeah, there seems to be a very difficult learning curve for the Frankensteiner.
It's all about timing and just taking that front flip the right way. It's funny because I see people, you know how Twitter is and the internet is. I see people go, oh, look, he's dangerous. I'm like, Steiner, his only job is to get his legs up and rotate over. It's he's not lifting anyone there. It's on the person taking it to get over and take it right. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh yeah. It's just a matter of timing your bump, and I guess it's pretty difficult to do, it seems, from all the different ways people have taken it wrong over the years. Yeah,
you just gotta I watched this a bunch of times when we reviewed it, and seeing it again here, Hughes just doesn't rotate over. He's going over, and it's just one of those things. I do realize you got to get the timing down on it. If it's your first time, you're not going to get over. I mean, some people will, but it doesn't look as smooth. Killer Kyle or Mark Kyle, the way Hughes just took it, he took it the exact same way on an episode of Saturday Night that we reviewed. He just he landed right on his head. Oh yeah, and actually, from a perspective of when you're watching wrestling, it actually looks, I guess it doesn't look as smooth, but it looks more devastating.
Oh yeah,
when
DDT,
yeah, because it's it looks like a man is getting spiked on his head. But to the point you made, it's some guys couldn't take it good, and other guys, man, it looked like $1 million. So I even think Dutch took it once and didn't take it too good. Am I thinking of someone else? But I think it was
Desperados.
Dutch. I think it was right before the Desperados, or a month or two before. It feels like it was before that, but I don't remember. Dutch and the Desperados, Jesus. I asked him about it on Twitter, and I said, Dutch, what do you think about Desperados? And he said, dead on arrival, and that was his only comment.
Mr. Hughes here too, just bumping like a cruiserweight for the Steiners this whole video package. It's amazing.
Yeah, this was another one that when we reviewed it, we extensively talked about it, and I remember numerous people on Twitter were like, man, y'all are right. Hughes is a bumping big man. I mean, look at him. He's just, look at that. That's
just in time there.
Well, that's what makes it look so great. He takes that backdrop and it's like, he tucks his head just at the last minute to take that bump. And then right here, even this bulldog's like, boom. I mean, he just was bumping his ass off for the Steiners in these matches. He really looked good. But back to Christmas night. So yeah, I was saying like they do the Omni on Christmas night, December 25th of 91. Only 3,600 people there. So, you know, like you said, they're just plugging this. Now, right before they went to this video package with all these replays of Luger and Steiner, they did show an ad for Battle Bowl, but it felt like from this point, I think you're right. They're doing a lot of plugging of Christmas night. They want to make sure they get that in.
Yeah, is 3,600? That's low. What's capacity and what's like the average? Do you know?
Well, average of when, it just depends on time frame.
Yeah,
because I mean, you know, average during this time. I mean, I've looked at many results from this time period, and I mean they would do 2,500, 3,000, 3,600, 3,500. I mean, they'd have some where they were more than that, but they're not selling it out during this. They're not even coming close to selling out, 15,000 or whatever it was during this time. They weren't getting close. It just wasn't happening. And a lot of them too, like I know, I don't have all the results up in front of me, but you'd see Omni cards and, they'd kid get in free and it wasn't just the Omni. They were doing it at just different places. They'd run some kind of special, you know what I mean? One adult ticket gets 2 kids in free, like shit like that they were doing.
Right.
But it's just not the good old days right now, So that's
it
that.
Is not.
Yeah, we've run past that, unfortunately. There was something on that card that I wanted to read. What was it? Oh, on the Christmas night card, there was a World Tag Title match. Steamboat and Rhodes did defeat Arn Anderson and Bobby Eaton in a best 2 out of 3 falls match. They went over 34 minutes from what I looked up, and of course Luger pinned Rick Steiner. It was a quick match. The history of WWE.com says an 8-minute match. So there's that. They didn't go for too long. The tag match, it seemed to be the main event because they went much, much, much longer. And Liger, I don't know if I should give these results now. Yeah, I'll wait. Fuck it. It's 30 plus years. Liger pinned Pillman to win the light heavyweight title. So there's that.
Really? That was his debut, right?
No. Nuh-uh.
Because the way Jim Ross is talking on this show, he's just saying like, oh, he's hitting this is his U.S. tour, his first stop on the U.S. tour. So he was been in before, but this is just his first match back.
Yeah. I mean, this is where it gets confusing because we've seen a million video packages of him. So he's been on TV a million times at this point. I guess is what I'm trying to say. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like this is his first stateside match for WCW.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, because I think he wrestled in WCW shows, but it was in Japan. Does that make sense? So, okay, if you're stateside, gotcha. Okay. Makes sense. All right. Anything else from all those millions and millions of replays, Crockett?
No, I think we got to get on to this next barn burner of a match.
Yeah, I think we saw like 10 minutes worth of replays, man. It was nuts.
2.5 hour show, man. 2.5 hours.
Yeah. All these replays, man. All right, so we go to a barn burner of a match. I'm not trying to be funny here. Maybe I am. Diamond Dallas Page versus who's from the Diamond Mine, as what we've come to find out. And unfortunately, Doc and Harper aren't here because I was going to throw to those two nasty-minded bastards and say, okay, let's hear your thoughts on the Diamond doll that Page is coming out with. So do you have any un-Catholic comments, Harper? I mean, Crockett?
She is top tier.
You like that, huh?
Top of the line, man. Usually you think in this era you have the big, hair sprayed up poofy hair and stuff like that. This is a classy woman right here.
That's an astute observation. You're right. She does not have the beehive. She does not have a can of hairspray emptied on her hair. She's got some hairspray in it because it's not moving a lot, but it's definitely not what we've seen from some of these Diamond dolls, for sure.
Some of these, harlots, yeah.
Oh my God, some of the ones we've seen, they've been pieces of work. Let's say that. There was one of them. We're pretty sure she was high and drunk the way she was acting on TV. The look she was giving Paige, and she couldn't stay still. I mean, she gave all the signs of somebody just overly amped up on some substances.
I wouldn't put it past her.
Not that I've done substances, but I watch a lot of On Patrol Live and Live PD, and boy, I see my fair share of people on cocaine and crack and numerous other stuff.
Yeah.
Not to mention I've seen my father-in-law a time or two.
Ooh.
Yeah. All right. Let me keep
the
moving.
voice down. There you go.
Yeah. Oh, man. All right. Let me see what you have from this 5-star Mac Classic between Diamond Dallas Page and an old Smoky Mountain veteran, Johnny Rich.
Johnny Rich from the Cradle of the Confederacy, Montgomery, Alabama.
Yeah, imagine if they said that now on TV. God.
Well, let me tell you how this went. I started taking my notes, saying, Diamond Dallas Page, he's like 4 months into his in-ring career, and for 4 months he's not bad at all. It's a good sequence with hip tosses and arm drags, and then just as I wrote that, I got a timestamp here at 1:30:10 is the beginning of the end.
Okay, is it a botch? Here we go. 1:30:10.
Yeah.
Here we go. Oh my God. You want look? Doc and Harper usually make me explain what happens. You explain what we just saw when Diamond Dallas Page Irish whips Rich into the ropes.
Yeah, DDP whips him into the ropes. He comes back, and I don't know if it's because he's throwing a lefty line, he's throwing the clothesline with the left hand, that Johnny Rich is confused, or he didn't know what he was calling, but he throws the line left-handed, and it kind of wraps around Johnny Rich's forehead. He doesn't budge, and then DDP ends up just kind of like wrestling him down and almost cradling his head and going for the pin. It was very awkward looking, and the first of this match from here just kind of falls apart.
When he goes down to pin him, you can tell he's apologizing.
Yeah.
You see when he's I'm gonna make that assumption that he's, man, I'm sorry, brother. You've been in the ring. My bad, dude.
4 months to be learning kind of on TV. It's got to be tough. It's gonna be tough at the beginning, but yeah, now they're going back to the headlock, the chin lock. Let's get back on the same page. Let's figure out what we're doing. So that's kind of what's happening here. And I don't think they really ever get back on the same page.
No, I don't think they do either. It's back then you could do this though. Guys would be on TV all the time with no experience. I mean, you'd never see this now, but
yeah, usually a lot of times the old shows used to talk about at Techwood, it'd be the job guys look like they were walked in off the street.
Dude, there were guys that I'm pretty certain for a fact they hadn't even taken a bump before. I mean, they couldn't even take. That's the easiest thing. I say it's the easiest thing to learn. What I mean is you're just falling backwards. Now, there's an art to making it look good or terrible, but like you're not doing anything. And there's guys who they can't even fall backwards. They're just bumping on their ass. Like it's like, okay, you never did that before, did you? At least that was my take sometimes. Not always.
There comes a weird back body drop. Whoa.
Yeah. So Johnny Rich shoots off Page into the ropes, and I've not seen many people do this before. Page like goes sideways, like he's
on the back body.
It
looks like maybe one of his hands slips off his shoulders, but yeah, he kind of like does like a little sidewinder off the back body drop. Thankfully, he lands on his back. It doesn't land on his head or anything. But Yeah, it looks. I can't tell who's like more upset during this whole thing, DDP or Johnny Rich. But there's a weird, awkward elbow, and it's like too close to the ropes, so DDP almost like bumps into the ropes.
Yeah, and I mean, Johnny's the seasoned veteran here. I mean, he's.
Yeah, maybe it's a thing where like DDP's trying to call it and doesn't know what the hell he's doing. So here we go.
That was the one I had. I don't know what was called, but Johnny Rich Irish whips DDP, and Johnny goes for, I guess, a drop kick, and I don't know what the hell happened.
Maybe DDP was supposed to hold on to the ropes, and but he doesn't, and he comes towards it, and like DDP just kind of like takes like one boot to the chest and doesn't really sell it, and then Johnny Rich is like, what the fuck, and falls, and then they go into a whole thing.
And here's the finish.
A terrible Russian leg sweep. And speaking of terrible.
Yeah, watch this knee drop off the top rope.
This shin drop.
Shin drop. Man, I would not.
Toe drop. Like hits him with the toe of his boot.
Yeah, it's a good thing he changed his finisher to the Diamond Cutter, because DDP on December 21st, 1991 did not look all that great in the ring. But he wins. I guess that's the more important thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you never see a winner leave more quickly.
He's out of there, dude. He's like, fuck this, I'm gone.
Yeah.
He's like,
best part of the match was the Diamond Doll.
Yeah, he's like, I'm getting the hell out of here, man. Screw this. All right.
So Wikipedia too says that this was DDP's first ever singles win.
Oh, okay. I did not realize that. We've seen him wrestle before, but this was his first singles win.
That's what it says, according to Wikipedia.
Maybe he was nervous. Maybe. All right. Well, congratulations, DDP, on your first win. Let's now go to the Young Pistols. They have something to say as we head into a match with them and the Patriots, where the losing team can't wrestle on TBS for 60 days. Here is their promo.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here with the new United States Tag Team Champions. And if you were with us this past Sunday on TBS, you saw exactly how the Young Pistols upset the Patriots to win the United States Tag Team Championship. But right here from center stage in just a few moments, 2 out of 3 falls, a return match for the titles. The losing team cannot wrestle on TBS for 60 days.
That's right. Jim Ross, the Patriots are a couple of geeks, just like these bandwagon Braves fans out here. I don't see you doing no tomahawk chop now. We are the United States Tag Team Champions. We're the only champions, and that's the way it is. We're the best team in wrestling. If you don't believe it, just ask us. Tell them, Stevie. First of all, you bunch of illiterate rednecks, shut your disgusting mouths. You make me want to vomit. Now listen here, let me tell you what it's all about. Marietta, Georgia, the finest son to ever come from Marietta, Georgia, is Steve Armstrong. Travis Tritt, brother, get a clue, man. If I wasn't so busy on the road defending my championship belt with Tracy Smothers, another bad Tennessee boy, I'd be in the studio making gold records. You understand what I'm talking about? Because just look at what we got, because all this, ladies, and brains too.
All right, guys, thanks very much for your comments, fellas. Fans, the Young Pistols, the new U.S. champions, they're going to defend the titles. 2 out of 3 falls. It's next.
I can't. I guess it's fine because they're heels now. But this whole Southern, they're still Southern, but they're the Young Pistols from Wyoming. It's actually kind of glorious to hear them talk about Southern born, Southern bred, and I don't know. I can't articulate it the way I want to, but I continue to be amazed by that much.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's so ridiculous.
Says they're both from Tennessee, and then moments later, when they have the match, they're announced from Wyoming. It's like, what is going on?
Yeah.
I love that. It's like the good old days when fan favorites would turn heel and just suddenly become obnoxious, awful people who hate the fans. It's just.
Yeah, and they rapidly turned. Like, I guess that I say rapidly. It was on an episode. They kind of turned and they were showing a mean side, and then the next week they were like bad. But I guess it kind of fits where this won't make much sense, but to me, this is how I rationalize it in my mind. Okay, they're from Tennessee. Oh, no. They say they're from Tennessee, but when they're announced, they're from Wyoming. So I guess as a fan, you're like, oh, I hate you. You're supposed to be Southern, but you're really not. You claim the South, but you're really not. I don't know. Like, that's kind of how I kind of rationalize it. But then again, I don't know, man. I will say this. They're entertaining. And Tracy, I will always love watching just his shenanigans and promos during this era because it's so bad. It's good. Same thing for Steve. But, yeah, I mean, they're both Southerners, and they never let go of that. They're always talking about the South, but they're the Young Pistols from Wyoming. It's ridiculous. And that's the other part. Doc likes to make fun of the people from the South, him being a Southerner, me too. It's like, yeah, well, who the hell knew where Wyoming was? It wasn't like you just pulled out the internet and Googled Wyoming to see where exactly they were from.
It's a stupid square state, right? Somewhere out there.
It's one of them. Yeah. It's way up there. Like, that's the thing, I don't know, man.
I love the timeliness of talking about Braves fans in December.
Oh yeah. They're bagging on the Braves at this point, making fun of the tomahawk chop and all that stuff. So, all right. So we go to the match. It's the Young Pistols, and there they go with that ridiculous dance that they've been doing lately versus the Patriots. They actually are very entertaining as heels. I mean, I like them both, babyface or heel, but they make me laugh as heels, and they actually, to me, made this interesting. Remember, the losing team, they're going up against the Patriots. The losing team can't wrestle on TBS for 60 days. This is for the U.S. tag titles, but it's 2 out of 3 falls. And the fans, in my opinion, were into this. Tracy's insulting the Braves in his promo, so the fans are doing the tomahawk chop at the beginning of the match to get on the Pistols' nerves. I thought that was genius for Tracy to bring that up, and then, because that's what you do. You feed the fans, and the fans give it back to you. There was a Tracy sucks chant. I just love that. They got all 3 falls in under 15 minutes. Now, let me go to you, Crockett. You tell me if you've got anything from this one.
Yeah, I love the old school heel stuff. Yeah, your town sucks. Your team sucks. That's classic right there. They'll tell you these days that's cheap heat, but that was wrestling back in the day.
You can call it cheap heat all you want. I watched Tracy Smothers at Wildcat X-Rated the year before he passed away, and he was going off about Zion Williamson, broken down ass, can't play basketball, and Drew Brees sucks. And I think it was the year after the famous Rams-Saints game with the no-call pass interference. He was just lighting into the fans about the Saints suck and Drew Brees ain't shit, and that wasn't pass interference. I mean, it was gold. And it's cheap heat, but the fans are all smart fans because we're in this bar, right? It's all adults. There's no kids there. And it's like 900 to 1,000 people, and they are eating that shit alive. It's loud in there. So if, damn near 60-year-old Tracy Smothers at that point can, mid-50s Tracy Smothers at that point can do that. I hate when I hear, it's cheap heat. Man, is it getting a reaction? Then whatever. You know what I mean? That's just my philosophy. Especially on the indies. Especially on the indies. I mean, especially on the indies. You got to do what you got to do.
Exactly. It's fun. Most of all, it's fun. Like, come out, around here, you come out in a New York Yankees jersey and, get the crowd all riled up. But yeah, that's what wrestling is.
Yeah, I wore a Falcons jersey just for that reason. Oh, Harper is on. So let's conference him in. Let's bring him into his puppy. I think we actually just saw the first fall. Where is he at? There he is. That was the first fall. No, it wasn't the first. Was that the first fall?
No,
did I miss it already? No, I
was,
didn't. Okay.
No,
they were just showing the replay.
Was, went to the Pistols.
Yeah. Because Armstrong pinned champion.
Right.
Where's Harper at? There he is. What's up, man?
Hey.
All right, we are in the middle of the Young Pistols, our boy Tracy Smothers, our fallen friend, and Steve Armstrong versus the Patriots for the U.S. tag titles. Best 2 out of 3 falls. We're in the middle of the first fall right now.
I had to go to Bogalusa
today.
Who?
Yeah, to put out like a unexpected fire.
Okay, you got to tell the people how far Bogalusa is from fucking Metairie, because no one knows.
Oh yeah, from God, it'd be like good 2 hours. Bruh.
Nobody's good. That's why when you said it, I'm like, okay, you got to tell people where the hell Bogalusa is. Nobody, me and you are the only two who know.
Bogalusa.
Hey, Cornette might not be listening to this show.
Yeah.
It's like, those jackasses, I know I plug their shit and give them a shout out every week, but they can go to hell.
Right. Every time I go into that Walmart, it's like I'm in that nightclub in Total Recall, bro. Jesus fucking Christ, dude.
People with free tits.
Free tits. Oh, they got some little hand thing going. Are there some little short person that's in a wheelchair? It's like, what the fuck is in the water here? Jesus.
I thought you were going to say like the cantina in Star Wars.
No, it's like Total Recall. Like everyone's got something with them, bro.
I've been to Bogalusa before. I didn't realize Bogalusa was that backwoods. It's been many years since I've been there.
Oh, yeah. I guess it's that paper mill they got. I don't know.
Dude, you act like it's a Smoky Mountain town.
Oh, I mean, shit. It's not too far away, huh?
I mean, yeah, it's far enough. I mean, it's still in technically, I guess, southern Louisiana.
No, but like what I'm saying is the demographic.
Yeah, probably. It's like a old Smoky Mountain town, yes, that Doc read the demographics for. Yes.
Probably like one step, but well, I don't know. I think they got a black mayor.
Bogalusa does?
I think they do.
I'm shocked. See, this is where we need Doc to be Googling it as we're talking about it. Look it up, Harper, while we go through these. What?
The mayor of
Bogalusa.
If they knew how to spell Bogalusa.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, we got a freaking Yankee on with us. He can.
Let's see, Bogalusa mayor.
All right.
It says Bill Watts.
Okay. By the way, the first pinfall did go to the Young Pistols. Steve Armstrong pinned champion by grabbing the tights for leverage. Dude. It's a black dude. So okay, well Bogalusa ain't what Bogalusa used to be then. It's still poor, but it's a little bit more diverse. It's what?
That Walmart's keeping a dream alive, bro.
Jesus Christ. Boy, talk about broke down.
They got a great salvage grocery store, though.
Jesus Lord.
I try to go in there.
And get what?
Dude, I got a big thing of fucking Slim Jims, like the big box of them, bro. It's
Randy
like
Savage on it?
No. I get those. The one by me has the Randy Savage ones, bro, for like 50 fucking cents. You know, fuck, how much those cost in a fucking store? They're like $2.50.
Harper's just getting his comeuppance just at the poor stores, man.
Of Slim Jims, it's like 30 of them for like $8, bro.
I fucking love it.
I don't give a fuck how old they are.
He's eating expired Slim Jim.
I don't give a shit, bro.
That's how the cow eats the cabbage, Harper. Let's get back to the cow eating the cabbage. The Pistols.
And
go ahead.
I finally found my Christmas crunch for $1, bro. I've been waiting to find the fucking Captain Crunch, the fucking Christmas one.
Oh, where'd you find this at?
At the fucking salvage store for 50 cents. It was like 50 cents or $1 a box.
Is it expired?
In May?
No. I know, that's what I'm saying. That's why it's so cheap. And it's not expired. It's like a month away. I don't give a fuck.
Dude, Harper's a big kid. Every year when we get close to Halloween, when it's Halloween time, he's scoping out the Boo Berry, Frankenberry,
Oh yeah.
Count Chocula, and he's like, I got my eye on you.
I'm just waiting till right after Halloween when that shit goes on clearance, bro. I'm like an alligator waiting for that fucking dude to jump in the water, bitch.
What about Fruit Brute?
Fruit Brute, yeah, Fruit Brute. They got a new one coming out that's got a female monster.
Oh, okay. You gotta.
Oh yeah, you're gonna eat that one up. I know you can't wait for that one.
It's like the Bride of Frankenstein or some shit.
All right, Crockett. Anything from fall number 2 before we get to it? The Pistols and the Patriots, they're tearing it up, man, on Saturday night over here.
Yeah, well, fall number 1, I just want to mention real quick. There's a great heel tag team spot where the guy comes off the ropes and the referee is like seemingly out of position, so the referee kind of has to almost dive out of the way as the Todd Champion's coming towards him, and that allows Tracy Smothers to pull down the top rope, and he goes spilling over. No disqualification because the referee doesn't see it. So, and then they roll him in, and that's how they get the pin originally in fall 1, which is a great little heel tag team spot. Fall 2, what the hell happened here?
Champion ends up
Todd
pinning.
Champion gets that weird just elbow out of nowhere as he's making his little comeback.
So
yeah,
the winner gets a shot at the U.S. title?
No. The Pistols are the champions right now. They beat the Patriots. But the loser of this thing supposedly cannot team on TBS. They specifically stated TBS for 60 days.
There it is.
Yeah, and there's fall 2. So it's 1-1 now. Now, I didn't know what to think of this when it first started, but when you listen to the audio of this, I don't know, me, Crockett, if it's just me, but I thought the fans were really into this for the most part.
I mean, they definitely got the Young Pistols promo definitely got the fans on the Patriots side for this one.
Yeah. Now that they tapered off.
When he throws it, his arm never goes up.
Yeah, you hate the windmill.
I hate the fucking windmill with a fucking passion, dude.
Yeah. You just got to throw it straight through, and if they don't duck low enough, they just get nailed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Tracy for you, though.
Mm-hmm.
Tracy is one of the most underrated workers ever. I know people hear this and say, "Oh, you crazy." No, I've seen enough of him live in person, even when he was crippled. And in the Smoky Mountain Run, he was very smooth. Very smooth. Just great in the ring. I was before you came on, I was telling Crockett about Tracy at Wildcat and how he would just get that cheap heat, and it was glorious.
Oh God, he was a master at it. He ain't do anything.
No, he was. That's what I was telling Crockett, like how he would go off on the Saints, the Pelicans, Zion, Drew Brees. Like he would just be like, it was like somebody who's a master guitar player. Like he'd be plucking those strings and people would be screaming. And like Harper, I was telling, Crockett, these are, the Wildcat X-rated crowd. It's smart fans, man. It's like and they're drunk, and so you're just getting these smart fans into it. He was a genius with it, man. He was so damn good. That's the one I didn't tell you. Crockett, I have this on video. So they were chanting "Tracy sucks," right, at him the whole time.
Yeah.
Well, he wins this 3-way he's in. He beats Danny Flamingo and somebody else. He's walking up the aisle and he's flipping everybody off the bird. He's like, F you, F you. And they're still saying Tracy sucks. He comes back and grabs the mic and goes, "Who sucks now, motherfuckers?" I came unglued. I was like, this dude is hilarious. You know what I'm talking about, Harper? You remember when he did that? So great. So great. I actually think it's in the Facebook group. I have to tag you in it because I posted when he did it. So damn good. All right, fall number 3, Crockett. Anything from this one?
Well, I mean, I was just talking about how they got the referee involved in that spot, so he doesn't look stupid. So he doesn't see them getting throwing the guy over the top rope. But at the finish here, when Tracy kind of gets firebreaker chip, he pulls his legs out from under him, in the corner, and is pinning him, but he puts his feet up on the ropes. The referee, runs over there, and obviously his feet are already on the ropes. He doesn't wait until the ref gets in position to put his feet on the ropes. So it kind of makes the ref look dumb there. But whatever, it's a heel spot. They got the win, and now I guess the Patriots are off TV for 60 days.
Gotta take up for the ref, don't you, Mr. Referee? You see? You see?
Point.
Gotta take up for the ref, but you're actually kind of right in this one. But what can you do? But the good news is the Pistols win, and that's exactly who I wanted to win because I don't know, man. Champion and Chip look good. It's just God, they needed to do something else.
That's Chip.
Yeah, that's Chip firing away. Firebreaker Chip.
Eric
right
Estrada.
here. I don't know, Crockett. I see what you're saying. He's as the ref is diving down to make the pin, Tracy's already. It's not.
One foot is low enough, but then the other foot's kind of coming up. Yeah, it's. There's plausible deniability.
I've seen more egregious situations.
Yes. Oh yeah. Two feet on the top rope. Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw one with your buddy in ROH one time that I was like, oh come on, you can't.
Fat Pants?
No, not Fat Pants. Fat Pants was good. Fat Pants
Turner?
wouldn't. Huh?
Paul Turner? Are you talking?
Oh yeah. It was Paul. It was Paul Turner. It was bad. I was like, dude, it was a pay-per-view too. I'm like, bro, you looking right at the fucking umbrella that he just hit the guy with. What are you like? It was bad. I remember like watching it going, come on, man, y'all can't let that fly. He turned around too quick. I think it was a Marty Scurll match or something, and Marty used the umbrella. Like he literally saw him use the umbrella. I'm like, bruh, that type of stuff. And I know if you'd have saw it, you'd have been like, okay, come on, you got it. You got to call. You better just make something up on the fly. I mean, fix it later, but call it like you see it right now. But he turned right into it, and it might not have been his fault. I don't know if they have earpieces in ROH back then. This was like 17 or 18. I mean, they'd have had earpieces in, right?
Of course, yeah. They're doing TV, yeah.
So they could have did something, but yeah, they didn't do it. All right, we'll keep moving. Yeah, it wasn't Fat Pants. I never saw Fat Pants do that. Fat Pants is Todd Sinclair, everyone, if you don't know.
Yeah, he named himself that. We're not making fun of him.
Yeah, right. Why would he call himself Fat Pants?
I don't know.
Have you seen him? Have you seen him? I tell you what, he was agile for a big man, dude.
Y'all probably harassed him.
No. Literally, he had the website fatpants.com.
I mean, Google Todd Sinclair, ROH. You'll see what we're talking about. Yeah. Do you know Paul Turner well? I said like he was like a good friend of yours or something, but I actually didn't know.
We refereed together for I did some Jim Kettner shows in Delaware. That's like 6 months. Yeah, I mean, I know, and it was around ROH for a little while. So yeah, we were friendly.
Yeah, I mean, mistakes happen. Like that time you hit the mat and counted the 1 count for Evan Bourne and ruined the show that night. I mean, it happens.
Yeah, you keep bringing that up. Thanks. Yeah,
I know. I'm sorry, but so mistakes happen. But your mistake wasn't on national TV at that exact moment and live on a pay-per-view. Yeah. All right, let's go to the next match. Mike Graham versus Tommy Rich. Dude, I can't with this match, bro. I'm just gonna put this out there. Coke Boy is laying on a mat for 30 minutes in this match. Only idiots like Jaworski find laying on a mat for 30 minutes entertaining. I sat there and was just like, come on, bro. When is this going to end? This is. What do you mean is it Florida? This is center stage.
Oh. I don't know. Are they all at center stage now?
Most of them. Not all of them. Every now and then, we go to the, like, what's it called? The little civic center in
Cobb County.
Cobb County, yeah. We go to Cobb County. We, a couple of them here and there will do that, but most of Saturday night right now is center stage. But Tommy Rich lays on the mat a lot. I really don't have anything, Crockett. Do you?
Come on.
I remember like Mike Graham's WCW run from when I was watching it originally as it aired, and just was not a fan. He's like just drier than dry. He's just
Jesus. Well, at least you didn't say what Doc said about him.
What did he say?
You were on the Rise and Fall of WCW show we did. And I've said this story a million times, so my apologies to anybody who's heard it. Mike Graham was making fun of Jeff Jarrett. He was like, that Tennessee hillbilly really thought in his pea-cent brain that he was like the next star. And Doc's comment when I played that portion from Mike Graham was, well, at least he didn't chew off the end of a shotgun.
Oh,
like, what an asshole.
Yeah, Doc really. Everybody out there who thinks I'm the freaking heel and Doc's the baby face, explain that one away.
Maybe that's why he's not here, because he got canceled.
No. Youth sports is what's canceling him right now. But yeah, it was rough. So I had no problem with Mike Graham. He's just kind of blah. Like, I know he can work, but it's not something you're paying the big money to see. And it's Tommy Rich. I mean, only people like Jaworski blast off into the freaking ceiling for matches like this. And that's my thoughts.
Rich, by the way, Mike.
I'm sorry. Jesus Christ.
I know there's absolutely no difference, just the name. He doesn't do anything any differently.
Ian Riccaboni said something about him on the Patreon page, and now I can't remember. Because he was I guess he was laughing at me making fun of Tommy Rich. And I forget what he said about Tommy Rich. Maybe it was something with his chaps or something, but I don't know. I can't with Tommy Rich. Anyway, we get a backdrop by Graham, and then Graham rolls up Rich, and Graham wins. And Right Guy won as much as I didn't care about this match. And that was my thoughts.
There you go.
Yeah. Any other thoughts, Crockett?
At one point, Jim Ross says that Gordon Soley once said that the figure 4 puts pressure on 7 different points of the lower torso, which was something I wasn't aware of.
Several?
7.
Oh, 7. Which ones?
The figure
I guess
4
you can't get into it.
I mean, boy, they could sell us some shit when we were younger, couldn't they?
Yes.
That's all. Well, it goes back to that discussion we had a few weeks ago, Hopper, about all the shit we ate up. Like, it was just like we lapped it up.
You believed everything. These people could tell you, like, oh yeah, the sky's fucking plaid. Like, yeah, okay.
Right.
But it's plaid outside.
Right. Well, let me tell you, in something I kept laughing at for days after, we were talking about when Zeus got hit with the chair. And Hogan's in the ring. Wasn't it Saturday night's main event?
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember.
Yep.
And Harper, you were like, bruh, they hit Zeus with the chair. And he just no-sold it. And I was just like, bruh, what the fuck are they going to do? How are they going to deal with this? Because we just couldn't comprehend this shit was work. We're just watching it like, oh my God, that guy took a chair shot and didn't flinch. Yeah, they're not going to be able to beat him. Right? I mean, I think that like the only time we saw it before then was like when Big Bubba got hit with the chair. And you might not even have seen that at the time. I did. Remember when Dusty wrapped the chair around Big Bubba's head, the metal chair, and it fell apart? That's the only other time. But Bubba didn't look like Zeus. Right. Zeus is just big, jacked up, bodybuilding looking dude. He just look intimidating as all outdoors. And he gets hit.
What the fuck are they going to do, bro? He just hit him with the chair and it did nothing. Nothing.
I heard from so many people, Hopper, they're like, bro, I ate it up too, man. I felt We
That
fell
was just
for
the
that
weirdest
shit.
situation too. That he was the heel in a movie, and they were, and then they just brought it into WWF, and we didn't really even question it.
Yeah, I was wondering the same thing. It's like, wait. He's in the movie, so he's real,
He's just playing himself.
right? Like, what's going on here?
Like I said, we ate that shit up.
Don't question anything.
I don't know. I mean, Crockett, is there any angle like that you can remember where you just were like, oh my God, it just fell for it, like hook, line, and sinker?
Oh man, I'm trying to think. I mean, when the Ultimate Warrior sweat black from Papa Shango, I was like, I mean, it was impossible to understand how they could fake that. So I guess he's just has black sweat.
Yeah,
ate it up.
Papa Shango, he did it.
The fucking snake that bit Macho Man.
Oh my God, that's a good one.
I mean, yeah, how do you fake that?
I thought that was a robot snake. I was like, that's gotta be a fake snake. Because I was sitting here watching, I'm like, dude, that's gotta be some like robot snake, like they use in movies and shit. That's not real,
bro. I ate that up. I'm gonna tell you one I ate up from Mid-South. God, who was he wrestling? Jim Duggan was having a coal miner's glove match, and dude, they would have those coal miner glove matches, and you couldn't convince me that they weren't murdering each other when they hit when the guy got the coal miner's glove off the pole and started punching the other dude, and he started bleeding like he was just gushing blood. I'm like, he's gonna die. He's gonna kill him. All you got to do is pin him, but he's hitting him with that coal miner's glove. And I believed it because Bill Watts is like, oh my God, like coal miner's glove. He'd explain why it would hurt. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, this dude's going to die. He's going to crush his skull. Ate it up, bro. Like, I question nothing. Just look, it's all the blood. I remember the first time somebody said, oh, the blood's fake. I'm like, bro, you can't fake that much blood. Look at it. There's no blood capsule. A blood capsule's not no bigger than my pinky finger, the tip of it. That's not, no. He's bleeding. Look, that's real blood. It's coming out his head. I mean, it just like fell for, and it turned out to be real blood. It was real blood, but bro, you ate that shit up, and like Carver said, question nothing.
Question nothing. Just believe everything.
We were, as I said when we talked about it then, we were marks.
Yeah.
Ate it up.
Yeah, why would you ever think that they would cut themselves? Like, well, no, they can't. That'd be stupid. You cut yourself? You spend all your time avoiding being cut. You got to cut yourself?
When I think about you, I cut myself.
Dude, that's what Cornette says. That's like Cornette's philosophy is like, so I think I was watching a YouTube clip like a while back, and he was talking about, I think it was, this is like over a year. Randy Orton wrestled Brock on a pay-per-view maybe a year or two ago, whenever it was. And anyway, Brock opened him up hard way or whatever. Actually, it was more than a year or two now that I think about it. But anyway, Brock opened him up hard way. And I remember Cornette like reviewing that match. And he's like, he's like, these corporations don't want you to cut yourself because that's too barbaric. So they don't want to allow blood, and since they don't want to allow blood, well, now you got to do it accidentally, but you're still doing it purposely. And I personally would much rather just rip my forehead open with a thin razor than have Brock Lesnar rip some elbows into my skull.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, it can cost me bloody. Yeah.
Like, I got a lot more control of that little thin razor than I do of some 275-pound jacked up fucking Brock Lesnar pumping his elbow into my skull.
You played, huh, Mike?
Yeah, I did it. And it's like nothing to it. That's why I laugh when I like people are scared. I'm like, bruh, there's much more painful shit. You don't even feel it. I remember one time there was a former Wildcat wrestler. You were telling me a story. He was having a match with somebody else at Wildcat. And out of respect for him getting embarrassed by me saying this, that's why I'm not saying his name, his opponent had to cut him. And there's no way. I'm not letting no other wrestler cut me. Bro, you got to be a doctor to cut me open. Let me put it like that.
Yeah.
Or else I'm doing it myself.
Now,
Yeah.
Mike.
Yes.
I had to ask, like, I think the way to tell if someone was a garbage wrestler, I'm not going to say that you're a garbage wrestler. I'm just going to ask you a question.
Oh,
Okay.
Trust me, he was a garbage wrestler.
I'll just ask you a question. Have you ever gigged your shoulder?
Oh.
No.
Oh, that's okay. That was my tell. If you've ever gigged your shoulder, that means you're really a garbage wrestler in my book.
Why would somebody gig their shoulder? You got to educate me.
No, just like you see like guys with their shoulders all gigged up, like Axel Rotten. I mean, I guess I wouldn't say he's a garbage wrestler. Maybe my theory's a little shaky, but guys, you never seen like guys with shoulder gigs?
I mean, I have, but a lot of those same guys were in like a lot of barbed wire matches too and stuff, and so they'd get kind of cut in the arms from that type of nonsense.
That's the most dumbest shit ever, bro. I remember when we first started Wildcat. You know, Luke used to work those shit for XPW.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
With the light bulbs and all that shit, and
Yep.
at the office, at the shoot job, at my dad's office, we had old light bulbs. You know, the old tube
Jesus Christ.
light bulbs. And I was like, dude, I got these old light bulbs. We could use them. He goes, use them for what? For when you wrestle. He's like, bro, I don't do that dumb shit anymore.
Yeah.
That's when I was fucking young, but I don't get myself get hit with light bulbs anymore.
Is that like toxic too?
Yes,
Yeah.
the fucking gas that comes out of it. If you watch them explode.
Mm-hmm. That big puff of shit.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I never let anybody hit me with a light tube. That wasn't
Shower
happening.
doors and shit. Go the fuck home, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, I mean, we're watching
Imagine
Steamboat.
getting that shit in your eyes, dude.
Yes, exactly. No, thank you. Hard pass.
For what? Live the
no.
dream, brother. You are
Yeah.
fucking stupid.
Exactly. No, Crockett, I never gigged my shoulder, just forehead.
All right.
Good
How many
stuff.
times? All the time?
No, it would have to be something special. Like, I was wrestling Tommy Rogers one time. This is a funny story. It was actually a 6-man match. And our one man, who was my third? It was me and One Man Gang and Tommy Rogers, and who the hell else was in this match? Anyway, it was like hardcore, and this was when Rogers was doing some ECW stuff too. And this was the ECW craze. I mean, we weren't using light tubes or nothing, but I was supposed to color in the match, get some color, and so I remember rolling onto the floor. Rogers throws me into the barricade, and then he posts me, and I was having trouble getting the blade out my wrist. So I had him. He's like, he bends down. He's like, "Did you get your color?" And I'm like, "No, post me again." I finally get the hold of it out of my wrist, pull it out, hit it, and I was like, "Did I get it?" And he looked at me. He's like, "Do it again." I thought it was a rib. I was like, "Fuck it, I'll do it again anyway." So he posted me again. I go down, hit it, and it wasn't a good one, but it was kind of cold in this building, and that shit makes a difference, man. I heard Cornette say that one time, talking about just like a building being cold, man. That shit does make a difference. You got to dig deeper. Anyway, Tommy Rogers one time was like, and then when I get in the back, I'm like, what did I ask him? I think I asked him the first time. I was like, "Man, you got to let me get my color." And he's like, "All right, bro." He throws his hands up in the air in front of the crowd. He's like, "Go ahead and knock yourself out." He's talking loud like that the first time. So anyway, he sends me in, and I don't know. I think I had to do it like 3 or 4 times.
In a 6-man match?
Yeah, it was a 6-man match. It was me and Gang and a local guy, and then Rogers and I think 2 other local guys.
Who was the local guys? Someone I would know?
I don't remember now.
Oh, it was probably Minotaur.
No, it was not Minotaur. I remember that. I remember everything me and him were involved in.
Could have just had to hit you with the horns.
It wasn't Joe Kane, because at that moment, Joe Kane was at odds with this promoter that I'm thinking of, and Joe Kane always has a problem with promoter. No, it wasn't him. I'm not saying his name either. That asshole gets no publicity on this show. He's like worse than Tommy Rogers.
Tommy Rich.
Tommy Rich, come on.
Tommy Rich. I'm sorry, not Tommy
Rest in
Rogers.
peace.
Tommy Rogers. Yeah, Tommy Rogers is a good dude.
Yeah,
Yeah,
brother. With its fake fucking stories in the locker rooms, like, bro, you weren't there.
Who are you
Shut
talking
the
about?
fuck. I don't know.
Oh, the idiot that I don't want to mention.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Oh, you know him. You've met him. I forgot you worked the show for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a piece of work, bro.
I'm just sitting there looking. I was like, dude, this dude's fucking full of shit.
Bro, he will talk like he's been around the world and ain't never left.
It's like, I didn't know Harley Race just walked in the fucking door. Holy shit.
The best thing is people the in wrestling who try to work other wrestlers with their stories. Like I remember, I was walking into a buddy of mine's house. He's a wrestler, and there was a guy installing cable outside, and it turns out it's a wrestler, and he's like, "Hey, how are you?" And he's like, "Oh man, things are going good. I mean, I was just talking to Dusty. I'm gonna be going down to NXT." Like, dude, never fucking happened. And at one point he was talking about he was going to be the third Dudley. It's fuck, dude. Like I don't understand these people. I understand like working, marks, working even newspaper writers, but to work the other guys in the locker room with these stories, like we could see through your bullshit.
Dude, like when I first started, I would like believe him. Oh, really? And I'll talk to Luke. Luke's like, he never worked fucking Japan. It's like, yeah, he said he worked Japan. It's like, no, he didn't.
Oh, bro, I was the same way. Because you don't know. It's like when I started, the internet was like not what it is now. I mean, 95, 96, it was just starting to like, you were just starting to get America Online. So, people would tell you stories. You didn't really have any way of verifying it unless you were around another veteran who could tell you, or not another veteran, but around somebody who could like literally tell you this person's full of crap. And yeah, that's kind of how I discovered. But the person you're thinking of, I heard it too. Oh, brother, I was in Japan. I was like,
brother, he's like, I'm on billboards in Europe. It's like, for
he
what?
said that?
Yes.
Oh, dear
Actually,
God.
bro, he used to always say that. I was on billboards in Europe.
Bro, Luke used to get on my nerves because I had to no-sell it. He'd be like, yeah, such and such is prime student. I was like, bro, don't put that hex on me, man. That dude did not train me.
I remember one time he was booked on a show with Bestia, right? 666. And he comes and says, oh, yeah, I remember your dad. I worked on these shows with your dad and yada, yada. Oh, okay. And he talks to his dad. His dad's like, who? I don't know who the fuck that is. Yeah, this guy, yada, yada. It's like, dude, I don't know who the fuck that is, bro.
We talking about two different people now. I know exactly who you're talking about. I know who you just talk. I know who you're talking about right now. I know exactly who you're talking about. Yes, that dude is even worse than the other dude I was thinking of, because I actually like the guy you're talking about right now. He's not a bad human being.
I don't hate him. It's just it's like, bro, he's like Stephen King, bro. He should write books.
Bro, dude, don't get me wrong. He's done like WWE dark matches. He's done he's done a little TNA many years ago, even on TV, but nothing like, he ain't been all around the world like he says.
No.
But he's not a bad dude. It's just that the first time you meet him, he'll tell you he got The Rock ready for his first world title run. I mean,
right.
That's
I wrestled against Flair in Greensboro. It was a dark match.
Right. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, that he's something else. I was thinking of somebody else. But let's get back to this show, because we got one more match to cover. It's been playing on the background on the video version. Ricky Steamboat versus Steve Austin. Crockett, we've been watching about 10 minutes of it as we talked. What do you have from this? This was good.
Well, the first thing is Medusa. I mean, last week, earlier in the show, she came out with Bobby Eaton looking like Chuck D. And here she's just looking tremendous.
All the way live is what you're saying?
Exactly. She got the feather boa, the white slinky dress.
Sound like you're getting turned on over there like Harper. I mean, Jesus.
You know, her the Diamond Doll. I mean, I don't know who wins that race.
You need to take a step away and do a little Jaworski action or what?
Yeah, just give me a second. All right,
Okay.
I'm back.
All right. That's about what it takes for him to get the tweezers out and do his thing. Yeah, you're right. She was kind of she was looking a little hip hop last week. Now she's Miss America.
Yeah.
Look good.
Cleaned herself
Okay.
up nice.
What else do you have from this one?
I mean, right off the bat, Jim Ross says, it's one fall, 50-minute time limit. So I look at the clock, I look at the video, and see there's 50 minutes left in the show. I'm like, oh, I know how this is going.
That shit I used to wonder because they used to say 10 minutes. I was like, how do they get it in just in time?
But I thought this was going to be a time limit draw. As it turns out, it wasn't.
Yeah, because they started with 15 minutes ago. So,
and I mean, this one, Steamboat worked on the head a lot, so it's similar to the last match with Mike Graham. Mike Graham, working the leg for a lot of it, but this is just so much more dynamic and just so much better. Even though they're just working a body part, just like Mike Graham was. Mike Graham was a little just stale, and I mean, this is Ricky Steamboat and Steve Austin. They keep you entertained. They keep you, involved and enthralled with the entire thing. It is very, very good, very well done. There's a ref bump going on, and then I forget what happened. Oh, there's like the false finish, the big false after the ref bump, and this is very good.
Yeah, like I like the way they just you could feel like the tension in the beginning. Like I was showing a clip just now when they're staring each other down. They're like building up to something without even doing anything. I made a joke. I had a joke in one of my notes. It was Steamboat goes for the code of honor right before the match. Like he literally puts his hand out and Austin's like, no way, bruh. It's just little stuff like that builds up the tension. And then as far as the finish goes, so with the finish, there's let me get to it on the video. That way those watching can know what we're doing here. There's a tackle by Steamboat to Austin, and then Austin goes flying violently into the ref, like right there. I mean, look at this shit. This is how you take a ref bump. Watch Austin just boom. I mean,
yeah,
that's not game fun and games. That's a ref that just looked like he got smacked, and that's what I want to see when I see a ref bump. I don't want to see no
real. Dude,
panty any little light shit.
When a ref just lays there like he got shot by a sniper.
Right. Austin flew
it looked
into
realistic
him.
And unplanned too. It didn't look like he was setting himself up or something. It looked like he just happened to get in the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So the ref bumps and he's on the outside. Steamboat comes off the top and hits Austin with that hammer chop off the top. So Pee Wee Anderson runs in, counts the pin 1, 2, 3. But now the other ref, who got hit violently, he wakes up and he's like, no. Restart the match. We got to restart this. This didn't happen. I got accidentally hit, not on purpose. Thus, we got to restart it. So fans are mad.
The 3 count, when he hit the 3 count, the foot, Steve Austin's foot was under the rope, and it just happened to be the foot was like right over where the ref was on the floor. So it was like they placed it perfectly so the ref on the floor could see that the foot was hanging outside the ring. So that's kind of why they restarted it.
I used to always wonder how come they don't have 2 refs, one outside the ring, so to stop the shenanigans.
That's what Gorilla Monsoons used to say.
Shut up.
Have 2 refs, especially these tag team matches. Need 2 refs.
Shut up. That makes the booking much harder.
Oh yeah, there was a company that I worked for that title matches they would have 2 referees, and it was. Yeah, because the guys would plan their matches and wouldn't think about it, and they'd try to cheat, and there's another referee standing on the outside, so it'd make things look very awkward.
The NFL has like 8 referees out there in a game, and they fix their results. So I guess it's possible. You could still do it.
They cheat.
Yeah. NBA too. 3 refs out there, and yeah. So I guess it could be done. Yeah, there'd be a way to finagle it for sure. Just have to be smart about it. Not be lazy. So the finish, the fans are mad. Austin throws Steamboat over the top rope, which is now a DQ. But that doesn't matter because Steamboat looked like he won, but now he wins by DQ. And then the heels hit the ring, one of them being Bobby Eaton, who's beating up the refs and Steamboat. Him and Austin are double teaming Steamboat. Wyndham comes in with an injured hand and all. And just as all that is going down and the shit is hitting the fan, of course, JR throws us off air as Steamboat finally clears the ring with a chair. That's how it's done in good old Southern wrestling. And that's how they wrap up this edition of the show up. Again, this was part 2. So we didn't rate it or hand out a Rolex last week because we were in the middle of it. So we're going to rate it and hand out a Rolex. So when we do that, we're going to have to keep last week in mind and this week in mind. Before we do it, remember, the only way to enjoy all of our Patreon content and all of our pay-per-views and Clash of the Champions and Heroes of Wrestling that we're all going to do soon is by going to tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. That is tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. Not only a great way to support the show, but get 300, 400 plus Patreon exclusive shows, including the video versions that we do each and every week as we watch along and review this stuff. tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. Greatly appreciate you signing up. So Crockett, you're sitting in for Doc. I'm going to go to you first and tell you to tell me what you're going to rate this thing.
So rate the whole thing overall, huh?
Yeah. So last weekend, this week. That's the problem because, this week was better. You not only have to remember, but to me, last week was not really good at all, whereas this week you had a lot better stuff.
I think the highlight last week was the angle with Rude and Sting. And this had the Austin Steamboat match and the 2 or 3 falls tag match is pretty good. I mean, I give it a solid B.
Yeah, just on the strength of this week, I'm going B+. Yeah, well, yeah, Steamboat and Austin, like it's hard to. They had a really good match, and you had to figure a finish like they did was coming. And then I thought the 2 out of 3 falls, the tag match was excellent, and those are really. I mean, you only really had, 4 matches on this whole second part. You know, you had Graham and Tommy Rich, whatever. Fast forward.
Oh, yeah. Harper, you missed DDP getting all kinds of fucked.
Why?
Yeah, before you... Hold on,
DDP's squash match he had.
Oh, no.
Yeah, well, not just that, but before you give your rating, why don't you tell me your thoughts on this Diamond Doll that's about to walk out with DDP? Hold on, I'm going to it now because he wrestled before you joined us, Johnny Rich, and here comes DDP, and I want you to tell me your thoughts on this week's Diamond Doll. And it's kind of dark. She's coming in. What do you think? Not bad. What?
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Christ. Okay, I thought you to go take a shit.
There you go. Oh,
Crockett.
man. Wait.
What? You like that?
Yeah. I mean, she looks good. Let's see.
Not your flavor?
Like white, huh? or is it the light on her?
No, because it's like dark in there. And
she's like loosely paper, bruh.
She's
it
bright.
looks like she's wearing a fucking Joker makeup.
She's fluorescent. But Crockett made a good observation. Look at her hair. It's not like, 80s puffed out 6 cans of hairspray.
Yeah, this is like 92 though, right?
No, late, December 91.
Yeah.
I guess.
It's just that's just getting old real quick.
I don't know.
When I was a junior in high school, that was still happening. You look at
Mike.
Mike.
How fucking old are you?
He's younger than us, not by a lot.
Really?
But yeah, he's a little bit younger than us because I'm in high school at this time.
Yeah, I was a junior in high school. I graduated in '93.
Oh, okay. We'll see. That's different.
Oh shoot, that's right. You're not. I'm saying younger. You got in a business after me, but you're not younger. That's right. I remember Malone saying that. All right. I don't know, man. I still feel like the hairspray was getting sprayed in pretty thick during this
At
time.
this time, I think it was still around, but it was kind of dying off.
Well, maybe they weren't teasing it up as much.
Yeah.
I guess. But DDP had a hell of a barn burner of a match. He had a couple botches in here. But Harper, what are you going to rate this?
I'm going to give it a B plus because I didn't have to watch any of this.
It was good matches, man. That tag match was good, and again, Steamboat and Austin was good. All right, so then now we have to give a 2-2 award out since Ric Flair's not here anymore. It's the Arn Anderson 2-2 award, no matter what Lance says in his programs that Michael Hayes farted on in 1987 or 8, whatever, 88 would be. So, Crockett, you are allowed when you give it the 2-2 award. I made the decision years ago that you could give it to a match. You don't have to give it to a person. So who are you going to give your 2-2 award to?
I mean, just because I'm here for Doc, I have to go back to last week and give it to Sting.
I would not have done that, but okay.
I mean, think about it. It was a great angle. I'm not even being funny like with Doc, but it's the whole thing with Sting, just 15 people on top of him as he's got Rude and the Scorpion.
I'm almost mad Doc wasn't here for that because I wanted to hear him talk about just the, patheticness of. I wanted to hear him eat crow. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
I wanted to hear him. I wanted to hear him because he hates Sting, and I get a lot of feedback about Sting ain't that bad, and I agree, he's not that bad, but he's for the kids, and I wanted to hear Doc just make excuses for how loud the crowd was because they really did go nuts for him. I'm not giving mine to Sting, though, even though I do agree with you. I'm going Steamboat and Austin because I thought that was a really good match, and you figured you weren't going to get resolution. It was going to be what it was, but that's who I'm going with. Harper, what about you?
I'm on the Steamboat and God damn it, it's Steve Austin because I didn't have to watch it.
Okay. Sounds good though, right?
Yeah, he's living on a prayer, man. I guess I don't know. All right, well,
it's like this when you're at a show and you go to a guy. How was my match? I didn't see it, but it sounded great.
Aubrey, when we wrap up, stay online. Don't hang up. I want to talk to you about your experiences that we were talking about a second ago with our favorite wrestlers who are stars, who've been everywhere and nowhere. Anyway, all right, real quick before I get out of here, again, become a patron. tinyurl.com/Patreon BTT. A great way to support the show. Access to our Clash of the Champions that we've done. We've up to 15, 16 by now. All of our WCW pay-per-views dating back to 87. Just, again, tons of stuff available for you to enjoy. Along with 400 other Patreon shows. We got the NWA Power shows with the Sparks and the little fella Half Pint, who is the whipping post over in the Facebook group. And then the ECW shows with Mike Prue, JV, and Rick Beebe. All of that on Patreon, tinyurl.com/Patreon BTT. Again, a great way to not only support the show, but get tons of extra content and then all the stuff that we do as well. If you are still in the market and want to give Harper a little donation as we go into the summer, he is still doing his relationship, life advice, cutting promos on people, his own video shout outs. All you got to do is email him to chrisharper16 Wildcat with a K at gmail.com. That's Chris Harper 16 Wildcat with a K at gmail.com. And then PayPal him CC30388CC at yahoo.com, $20, and he will cut your video. Just make sure when you email him, you're very descriptive in the video. Otherwise, he doesn't know what he's supposed to do. And Harper takes directions very well. Not really, but that's why you got to be very descriptive. Anything else before we get out of here, Crockett? Thanks for joining us the last 2 weeks. I should tell you that before you go.
No, I really appreciate it, man. I hope to do the Heroes of Wrestling. Can we get confirmation with Harper that he'll watch Heroes of Wrestling and do a podcast about what?
I'm not watching that shit.
You kidding
me?
You
said last week you were.
No, I'm not watching that. That's just horrible.
The fans are calling for it.
They can call all they want. No one's answering.
Last week you said, but Chuck Gunter wants you to do it. He's an old friend. He's a good friend of ours. Chuck wants you to do it.
I I talk shit when I'm drunk.
No, that's not allowed. You can't backtrack like that.
Oh God, dude.
Well, you don't have to watch it all at one time. I mean, you could take a couple of weeks. That's what it's going to take me to get it watched because it's like 2+ hours.
It's on YouTube, huh?
It's on YouTube. It's so bad you'll laugh. It actually feels like something you and Lady Harper, Tiffany, can dial up and she can just complain and go, "This is fucking stupid" the whole time.
Oh, no, that's not on the network. You think they would have picked that up, huh?
Dude, I don't think they want to buy that shit. I mean, like, when you think about the territories, Mid-South and World Class and, stuff that's got good angles to it, like, I can see, okay, yeah, we want to buy that. Like, we want that library. I don't think it ever crosses Vince McMahon or anybody in WWE's mind to be like, you know what? We should buy Heroes of Wrestling. That's going to do great numbers on our network.
What do you think owns that?
I have no clue.
Yeah, we got to do some research.
Would it be the production? I mean, Crockett, you know a little bit more about this stuff than me. Would it be the production company maybe, or?
I guess. I mean, I don't know. Like, there's such a mishmash of people involved. Like, they got like
they had to be
Michael
a promoter,
St. John from Memphis and like Dutch Mantel. Like, I couldn't place like who would be involved in this thing.
Because Mississippi's got a commissioner, right?
Mississippi does. Yeah, Mississippi has a boxing and wrestling.
So they had that. So there was a promoter involved.
Well, yeah. I'm not saying that at all. I just don't know who would own it. Like I don't know why. I mean, has the WWE bought it at this point? I don't think so.
No,
I mean,
no.
Exactly.
They would buy it just to destroy it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know who owns it. I'm just clicked on Wikipedia just to kind of look to see what it says, but Fostone Productions president Bill Stone conceived a series of events consisting of wrestling stars from the 80s and early 90s fighting one another in a series of dream matches. That was where the original idea of this came from. Dude, that sounds like the worst shit imaginable.
Dream became a nightmare.
How much you think the pay-per-view was? Like $20?
I don't know how much the pay-per-view was, but
what year was it?
99. Stone expressed his surprise that the World Wrestling Federation had not already put on such an event. Stone intended to run 3 more pay-per-views run on a quarterly basis if an initial target of 40,000 buys was reached. Good luck on 40,000. It says they had 29.
29 period?
God. 29,000. I ain't gonna lie. I was by my buddy's house who had one of the old boxes with the filter on it. Yeah. We watched it for free.
I had one of those.
The statute of limitations is over. He watched it for free. I just was at his house. There we go. Yeah. Anyway, there's more on this, but it just 29,000 households. I don't know who owns it. I kind of wish I knew, but I don't know why anybody would want. Dude, WWE wouldn't put that on the network anyway. If they did, they'd have to edit out.
I was just joking.
No. What I was saying was, yeah, I get it. But can you imagine like them putting it on a network? They'd have to like scrub Jake being shit faced off of it.
But that's the best part.
Dude, it's funny to us, but that's pathetic, man. Harper, have you seen the way he's acting on that thing?
I've seen bits and pieces. I haven't seen it in forever.
Bro, my buddy I was watching it with, I think it was him or somebody else that was at the house, it was like, bro, that dude's fucking gone. I mean, we kind of were in amazement, like how drunk he was.
Oh, yeah, bro. He was probably in a casino all fucking day, free drinks. I'm Jake the Snake Roberts.
I'm loving the way he got
playing Bootyguard Monty.
Yeah, in his hotel room getting fucked up.
He was, dude. He actually he was masturbating his snake. It was just.
Come on.
It was wild, dude. It was just wild.
But was it a robot snake?
It was a robot snake.
He was cranking a snake, man. It was pitiful. The Samoan SWAT team, I'm reading the results now, versus Marty Jannetty and Tommy Rogers, Greg Valentine versus George Steele, Too Cold Scorpio versus Julio Fantastico, Bushwhacker, that's the match that I remember so much, the Bushwhackers versus the Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov. It was so bad. Ugh. Tully and Stan Lane, Abdullah and One Man Gang. I remember that. That was a train wreck too. Snuka and Bob Orton and Neidhart and Bundy versus Jake and Yokozuna. Who thought this was a good idea in 1991?
They didn't give a shit. They just said, well, they're stars.
I'm going to listen to Dutch Mantell's take on it. He did record some audio on his YouTube channel. I still need to give that a listen. I said I was going to do it last week. But so, all right. Harper says he's going to do it, but who knows? We got to get him and Lady Harper to watch it. But Crockett, let you and I get it watched, and then I'll work on the Superstar. Get him to watch this shit. Because, Jesus. I just I need Harper's reactions to just like the utter patheticness of it and how terrible it is, because nobody can react like him to
probably
to
just so
shit
depressing
show.
and embarrassing.
That could be too.
I mean, I don't know if I've ever been as drunk as I saw Jake on this pay-per-view. I've been drunk before too, bro, but to carry on like that, nah. All right. Well, on that note, it is time to get out of here. Crockett, thanks for the last 2 weeks. It is greatly appreciated. You did a great job. Almost as good as Doc. And you've done a good job on the Patreon show, so that's great. And we're going to get out of here. Harper, hit the tagline. Let's friggin' roll.